Do you struggle with making weight jumps in the gym? Watch this video because I'm going to show you exactly what to do if this is a problem for you. Hello there, my friends. I'm Dr. Alyssa Olenek, and I'm here to walk you through today what to do if you're in the gym and you have to make a jump between a dumbbell set that is maybe a 5 or 10 pound jump, or you can't, or the weights in your gym don't allow you to quite make the small enough jump that you need in order to make progress in your lifting. So first things first, let's talk about what to do when you're running into this issue with dumbbells. So say you're in the gym and you're doing bicep curls or shoulder presses with this 15-pound dumbbell, and you are given a workout that's three sets of 8 to 10 reps. But if you go and try to do the 20, you just can't get all 8 reps, or you can't even move it at all. So this is what you're going to do. You're gonna stay with that 15-pound dumbbell unless you can find a gym that has a 17.5-pound weight, or you can buy small change plates to put on this. And what you're going to do instead is, if you have 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, and you can do 8 with this, you are gonna work yourself up to that reps of 10. If when you get to that set of 3 by 10, you can't do 3 by 8 at that 20-pound jump, you're gonna continue to stay with that 15-pound weight, and you are gonna keep going in your reps up to 15 or 20, whatever that looks like for you, that you're still hitting the RPE, or rating of perceived exertion target. So if that workout is prescribed for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps at an RPE of 8 out of 10, which means you have about 2 reps left in the tank, or 2 reps before you would fail, you're going to take that bicep curl workout and go until you only have 2 left, and stop there at that number of reps. It's okay if you have to increase the reps in order to do that. That's a way for you to still make progressive overload, gain strength, and still train that with the lighter weight while adding progress to it. You don't always have to stick exactly to what your training program has if you can't adjust the weights appropriately. Another option is to take 1 or 2 of your sets of doing the example of what I just showed you right there, and then doing 1 or 2 of your sets at the heavier weight, but doing less reps. You can get used to doing that. So you can do something like, say you can only do the 20 for 6 reps, you do your set of 3 by 8 to 10 with a few sets higher than 10, and then taking that 20-pound weight and doing it where you're doing it only for as many reps as you can, assuming you can get at least a few out just to get used to moving that weight. Another option you have with that as well is you can break up the reps and sets. So instead of doing it as 3 by 8 to 10 at that heavier weight, if you can get 4 or 5 and then take a small break and then finish the set to get 8, you can do that as well in order to overload that. Small lifting breaks are a technique technically used in heavy weightlifting. They're called cluster sets, but you can take that same application to your lifts in the gym by simply taking a small break after a few reps and then finishing the rest of the set. Now you only want this break to be somewhere about 10, 20, maybe 30 seconds max. We don't really want that long, especially for accessory variations, but a small set that will help you regenerate your phosphocreatine, which is giving you that explosive, quick power energy that you need to do the set, and doing it at the heavier weight until you're able to string together more. Your goal over time would be able to do, say you started with 4 reps, pause, 4 reps, then 5 reps, pause, 3 reps, then 6 reps, pause, 2 reps, until you're able to do that weight for that actual set that you're doing. Now, when you are struggling with this when it comes to your barbell or your compound movements, or maybe your heavy machine-based movements, you can take those same tips that I gave you for the dumbbells and apply that to those variations as well. You don't necessarily have to be lifting with dumbbells or doing accessory moves for that, but I find that that's the place that people struggle with the most because of the large jumps in dumbbells, especially in commercial gyms, and especially for women and females who tend to struggle with upper body strength to begin with. So those jumps feel a lot more bigger and a lot more significant than they maybe do to males or simply beginner trainees who are new to this, and those jumps are still big and aggressive for them as well. Another option when it comes to doing this with the barbell squatting movements is that, luckily with plate jumps, usually you're only having to take 5-pound jumps on your lifts. And usually when you're doing those bigger compound lifts, those aren't as significant. But upper body pressing movements or chest pressing movements or anything like that might feel like that is a huge jump as well, similar to that with the dumbbells. So what you wanna do is you wanna look for change plates. Now, a lot of gyms will have 2.5-pound change plates or these 5-pound change plates. But what you can look for as well online are miniature chain plates. They have chain plates that go down all the way to fractions of a pound. So you can get half of a pound, so you can add 1 pound increments at a time. When it comes to making progress with your upper body, this can be an absolute game changer for you if you're someone who's struggling with these big jumps and feeling like you can't get to that next big higher set or reps or weights, but you still feel like what you're doing right now isn't challenging enough. Adding just that little bit of extra weight can make a huge deal for you progressively overloading over time, and yes, that still counts. And when Olympic weightlifters actually use fractional weight plates for lifting and setting PRs and doing small progressions because of the high skills required of their lifting, and that doesn't mean that they're not making progress because they're making such small jumps. They're intentionally using those small plates and those small jumps to make progress where larger plates are kind of missing those gaps in their training. Now, the last thing that you can do if you are kind of in between and you feel like you can do one set of the heavier weight, but you can't quite sustain that through all of your sets, is to simply start that top set with that heavier weight and then finish by backing off into those lighter weights. This is something that's often done with strength training or barbell workouts, where you go work up to a heavy set of squats or deadlift or whatever that is, and then back off to a percentage of that weight to keep making progress. You can kind of apply that here. This will allow you to still get that higher stress and stimulus and fatigue and intensity of that heavier weight that you're doing for that first set, but then backing off to the set or the weight or the dumbbell, whatever that is, and adjusting for what you then can do after you've been under that fatigue. Remember that lifting is just an accumulation of the fatigue and stress that you're putting on your body to adapt to. And after you've done some work in the gym, when you accumulate some of that fatigue, if your exertion level is at that mark of what you're being prescribed, even if it's at a lower weight, you're still training intensely enough. It doesn't have to be consistent across all of those sets if you're unable to because of the jumps, but if you can start with that heavier weight and then back off to that lighter weight, and then eventually over time link together those sets so you can do the heavier weight for all three, that still counts as progressive overload. It doesn't have to be perfectly linearly increasing every weight, every set, every rep, every week. Over time, little things like that can count and make a big difference in your training too. There you have it. I hope you found these tips helpful and you can use them to break through your next lifting plateau or jump to that next weight in the gym. If you found this helpful, let me know below what you've been struggling with lifting and what would help you as well. And if you use this and try this out, please come back and let me know how it goes for you and if you were able to actually apply this to make progress in your lifting in the gym. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.